Hello, everybody. Are they there? Are you there? Anybody home? Let me see if we're live here. There we are. Is anybody out there yet? I'm going to wait for just a little bit and let some people kind of filter in. There we go. There's some people popping in. Hey, Valerie, how are you? I'm going to set just a minute here. Actually, let me get my camera straightened out. I don't know why it... Oh, because it's not very tight. That's why. There. Maybe it'll stay still now. Hey, Joanne, how are you? And there's Sharon. Enjoying the 80s this week? We are freezing here right now. In fact, I took my jacket off, but I'm cold. These lights give off a lot of heat, so I'm hoping it warms up. But this morning when I got up, it was like, I can't remember if it was 55 or 57. I went to pick up the dog just a little bit ago from the groomer. It was 42 already. And then by the time I got home, it was down in like 37. It's dropping like a rock right now. But it is freezing out there, and it's raining, it's cold. It's supposed to turn over to snow and sleet, I guess, later on today, but it is not very nice outside right here. So enjoy your 80s. Soak it up. I'm hoping one of these days I'll be there. Hey, Catherine. How are you doing today? All right. Well, we'll sit here for a bit and let a few people filter in. Now, this week I'm going to be doing this is going to be a project that if you're a seller, or even if you want to make something for yourself, for your home, or give it as gifts, it's going to be something you should be able to whip up pretty quick. I noticed I didn't have a thing in my shop for St. Patrick's Day, and I need to get something going, but I wanted to make a floral, but I couldn't find florals I like. That I have some Gerber daisies that are, I don't know, they're just like a pea soup color green. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought them, but anyway, so, it's warmed up to 52 in Connecticut. Hey, Connie. Yeah, Connie's probably getting what we're getting. Connie always sends all her bad weather this way. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like a few people are filtering in, and there's always the replay is always available for you. And then I'll get this downloaded to Vimeo and then send you a link. So, and I don't know if you've been on my website, but starting, I don't know, it's been a few weeks now that I've been trying to put the new tutorials on our website. And just let me know if you're having any trouble with signing in or anything like that. Every now and then like today I've been dealing with a customer that bought one of my workshops, and for some reason it's saying she's in there, it's not letting her see the thing. So let me know. Just go there and kind of try it out. And remember, I'm the one that has been loading this stuff, so it might be a little bit rough. But hopefully I've got feelers out for people to try and get all our videos onto the website there, where it's all going to be collected in one, well, not in one, but I've got sections like spring and Easter, and then winter, Mardi Gras, and then I'll be putting a summer one, and then fall and Christmas too. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit more easy for people to find things. And if something happens, Facebook freaks out and kicks me off or something, you'll still be able to get to your videos, okay? So, stranger things have happened. One of my friends, she had worked years getting her Facebook business page up and running, and had like I can't remember, it's 30,000 or 50,000 some odd followers, and her site just got hacked and evaporated. So I want to be sure that we've got a backup somewhere. And that's why our videos are on Vimeo and not housed solely here. So, all right, who else joined in? I saw somebody. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? And I was so happy to hear your husband's doing better. Like I told you, I was almost afraid to ask, but I'd been thinking about you, but I'm so glad he's better. Yeah, sending the beautiful weather. Yes, yes. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is going to be hopefully a quick project. This video won't be quick, but you will be able to make it quickly once you learn this wreath recipe. And if you've got a craft show coming up, or if you've got an Etsy booth, or even if you just want to make it for yourself, this is something you could work up really quickly. And as I said, I wanted to do a floral design, but I just didn't. I need St. Patrick's Day things, and I just didn't have any florals that would work. So I guess I could have done white, but that was going to be pretty boring, right? But this is going to be a low profile or a small profile wreath. Some people call it a screen door wreath. Some people call it a pancake wreath. But it's just going to be a small wreath. And it's been my experience. Now, your customers might be different than mine, but I have never been successful buying or selling a high dollar St. Patrick's Day wreath. I think it's just such a short window. I mean, you've got Valentine's Day and then St. Patrick's Day, but then, Easter's right around the corner, and people do spend a lot more on Easter, it appears to me, or that's the way my customer base is. But so I don't usually make big extravagant wreaths for St. Patrick's Day. And that, too, you got to think about, again, if you're a seller, you got to think about, teachers might want to decorate their doors or something like that. It looks like I've already started to use this and change my mind, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off because that's not where I want the hanger on this. So we're going to be using Deco Mesh. We're going to use several ribbons, but just like the wreath that we had for the tutorial this week, you do not have to use this many ribbons. I'm just doing it the way I like to, but I'll try to tell you when you can adapt things a little bit differently. And we're going to go ahead and get the sign done first. And it's just a generic St. Patrick's Day wreath. And I like this sign because even though my ribbon is not argyle like what the sign is, the colors are very similar. So I just thought it paired really well with one of these ribbons that we're going to be using. But I usually go ahead and take off these jute rope hangers. I usually go ahead and take those off and put my own hangers on there. Well, this is being stubborn. Get this off of here. So do you guys decorate for St. Patrick's Day? I know some people do and some people don't. There we go. Now, this is not going to be visible. The back of the sign is not going to be visible on this particular wreath, so I usually get them pretty full in the center. But if you had a sign like this and it was going to show the middle of the back of the sign, typically I'll put my business card on there. Again, if you're making it for yourself, then don't worry about that, but that's the way I like to do it. And I'm going to drop you guys down now. Might have to raise you up just a little bit. I'm going to raise you up here. Hi, Rhea. How are you? Get you straightened out there. Okay. Whoops, that's still not straight. All right, get one more camera going here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get our sign ready first. That way the glue can be drying on the pipe cleaners as we're doing some other things. And this is one of the Dollar Tree wreath forms, and it's 14 inches, I believe. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah, it's 14 inches, and you can see it's a little bit raised, and I like that. So many of the wire wreath hanger or the wire wreath forms are flat, and to me they're a little bit more difficult to work with, but I like these. And the only thing on them now, you know, they are Dollar Tree, and I'll go through and gently test all these welds, because sometimes you'll find one that's broken, and what you don't want to do is go ahead and get your wreath made and then you find the wreath frame is broken. So but don't push it too hard either, because then, you know, you can go ahead and crack it too. But just give it just a real light squeeze and make sure everything's all connected. So I'm going to take my sign, and this is upside down for you guys, I know, but well, I can do it this way. This is going to be my wreath hanger, and these should be spaced pretty close, or pretty close together, I should say, as far as being straight. That didn't come out very well, but you know what I mean. You can usually count on if this is right directly in the middle. And actually, I'm using my grid lines on my cutting mat here. And if I've got the one on the bottom at the same level as I've got the one at the top, then I can assume that these are going to be straight. Okay, hey Joey, how are you? So I'm going to put these here, and what I'm going to do, I want my pipe cleaners to be attached on these brackets here. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this right here and kind of center it over those 4 brackets there, making sure I've got my top and my bottom lined up there. And I'm making sure that I've got it, you know, pretty close to equal on the sides as well. So I don't want it just up and down straight. I want it side to side straight. So now I'm going to take it, I'm just going to flip it over like this. Try and keep a hold of it. I suppose you could do this upside down too. Then you don't have to worry about holding it like that. But all right, so I'm just looking to make sure I'm pretty well even, which I'm not. So I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. Okay, now I'm just going to take my marker here, and I want to attach this to a bracket. I want my pipe cleaners to be attached to a bracket. So I'm going to this inside place here. If you can see that. Let me move my hand. I'm going to this one right here. Okay, so I've got marks on all 4 corners where I need to put my staples, basically. Now, where's my staple gun here? And I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner. I'm going to put it on all 4 corners here, just where we marked. And one thing you want to watch, if your sign is thin, think about, you know, your staples could go to the front. If that's the case, sometimes if you double up or triple up your pipe cleaner, depending on how thin your sign is, then it might not do that. But I already know that I'm good with this width of sign if I put my pipe cleaner there and I go ahead and use my staple gun. But you know, some people use those cable ties. I don't really trust those. I've had some friends that they've failed with, so I like to do, you know, connect mine a little bit more mechanically. Oh, you know what? I wanted to straddle that, so I'm going to pull this down. Get it just a little bit more tight. There we go. And see, I check this front, and I'm not going through to the front. Okay, let's go ahead and do it down here. The next corner, where's my mark? Here it is. I panicked a minute, I lost my mark. And it doesn't have to be exactly on the spot, you know, with, you can adjust it after you get it on the wreath if you need to. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to put a little bit of glue over the top of those. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set this off to the side now and let that dry. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to prepare our wreath form now. And I like to use pipe cleaners to, you got to have some way to attach things to your wreath form, right? Let me bring you guys here a little bit more. These wire frames, yeah, I don't use them very often, Joey. I think that's what you're talking about. But, you know, like I said, I don't like to make a big extravagant wreath for St. Patrick's Day because my customers just won't buy them. All right, now, I'm going to take 6 pipe cleaners. I'm going to attach, you know, I'm going to have 2 layers. I'm going to have some on the outside, some more toward the inside. And for the outside, I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm going to straddle this. Now I'm taking in 2 of the rings here. And I'm straddling that bracket. If you can see that, I've got 2 rings, not just 1. If you only have 1, it'll just slide back and forth. But, and then I like to straddle that bracket. I'm kind of diagonal over the bracket just to let it hold a little bit tighter. All right, now I'm just going to take these. I'm going to put one of those on each one of these brackets. And if you want to, after we get all these pipe cleaners on, you can always come back here and put a dab of glue. It's been my experience the glue doesn't really hold very well on the metal. I suppose if you wanted to go ahead and take the time to use that liquid Gorilla Glue, that's a little bit better on metal. But I've found that really you can't, after you get everything all said and done, it doesn't make any difference. All right, I got that one a little bit uneven there. Let me get this a little better. There we go. All right, now, so we've got on all the brackets on the outside, using 2 rings, straddling or going diagonally over the bracket. And because there's a little lip on there that'll help hold that secure. There's like a little nub that you can feel. It's kind of rough. Okay, now for the other ones, we're going to go for the inside. And we're going to take them between those. Now these ones will still move. Now, and you know, put them on there snug, but don't pull them so tight you're going to break your weld, because you can do that. But as you can see, you know, if I put them on straddling 2, then they stay pretty stable. Let me show you what it's like putting them on just 1. Let's see. Let's just do here. You know, here they won't even stand up. They just go back and forth. So, like I said, make sure you grab 2 of them. And I'm pulling, as I'm tying my pipe cleaner or twisting the pipe cleaner, I'm bringing it toward the inside so that all my ribbons and such will be to the inside. If I put it out here, everything's going to lay back. I don't want that. I want it all pulled up to the front. I'm just going in between those previously placed pipe cleaners. And this is a good idea too. This kind of a recipe is a good idea. Say if you're wanting to teach people to make wreaths, like do like a wreath making party or something like that. These are something that you don't have to have a whole lot of money in them, and people can learn it pretty quickly. I must have miscounted my pipe cleaners. Oh no, there's another one. I feel like I haven't made mesh for so long, and now that's all I've done the last week or so. I had to make 2 more of the police wreaths yesterday. Got them all done, almost all done. I just got to put finishing touches on them. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. And as I said, if you wanted to, you could put a little dab of glue on there. I think it's just really just to make you feel better, because I don't think it really holds. but don't worry about them. If they slide a little bit, you won't be able to tell at the end. I'm going to see if I missed any questions. Hey, Bonnie. There's Olivia. How are you? Oh, the St. Patrick's Day with tulips. Yes, and I only have one. Well, actually, I only have about half a bunch of those green tulips left. And I haven't even looked to see if we need, or if they have any. Hi, Claudia. Okay. All right, so now I went ahead and cut all the ribbon, but I forgot to cut my mesh ahead of time. And the way I like to do it, it's going to make a little bit more full of a wreath. But if you want to make it smaller, you can. But I like to use 30-inch ruffles. So I'm going to be cutting 12 30-inch long ruffle or strips of this 10-inch mesh. If you need it to be a little smaller, you can do a 20-inch. But I like bigger things, you know. Bigger wreaths. And I just got this is just a emerald green 10-inch Deco Mesh. I've got the lime green with the black stripes, 10-inch, and then I just have a jute Deco Mesh. And the jute is for a couple of reasons. I could have put white with it, but I like jute to kind of quiet down all the shine, and you know, lime green especially can be a little bit garish. So I like to throw in some of the jute colored mesh, just kind of calm it down a little bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and trim off this edge down here just to make it neat. Then I'm going to come up here, and again, I'm going to cut 30 inches, so I probably need to move all this stuff. And I don't have a mesh roller. If you have one, that'd be fine to use it, but I'm old school. And I don't measure out my mesh that much this way, so I wouldn't really use it. So, let's see, we've got 12 pipe cleaners, so we're going to need, let's see, we got 3, so we need 4 strips of each of these. So we've got 35 down here. I'm going to come down to 5. I'm going to cut 30 inches. Let that just kind of curl up on itself. There's 2. One more here. And if you don't have a rotary cutter, that's fine. You don't absolutely have to have one. It does make a little bit more neat edge, and you're going to be less likely to get much fraying. But just know you don't have to have one. Okay, get all this out of the way here. Let me see if I have any questions. Hey Vince, how are you? And there's Sue, Ethel May. Charlotte's wanting to know where I got the police signs. I had to order those off of Etsy. I had an order for 3 of them, and I had gotten them from Craft Outlet, but they were out. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start putting our mesh on, and we're going to do the outside line first, and then we're going to do a little different than we usually do on the bigger Deco Mesh wreaths. Just can't get you guys in a good range here. Need to bring it back this way, I guess. Okay. Now, you've seen me make plenty of ruffles, and I typically I'll just kind of crunch them up. I don't do that on these particular style of wreaths. I usually will take them, let me zoom in here. Probably making you guys sick. They're moving you all around. But I'll take it and I'll fold it down, and then I'll fold it again. So I've got this doubled down, so this is so that your edges aren't going to be fraying as much. I mean, you might still have a little bit, but this is going to greatly reduce the fray on your mesh. All right, now I just take them and I just ruffle them up. This is also a good recipe to do if you've got younger children or grandchildren. My granddaughter loves to do this. Okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold it over again and again. So all of those rough edges or cut edges are down deep inside there. Now I'm going to just take it and start on the outside, put it in my pipe cleaner. And twist it around. I usually just twist it once because I don't want a big stem on there. And I just take these just as they come off of the roll, trying to rotate the colors. Like I said, I fold it. Sometimes it's tough to get it started. Fold it, and then I fold it again. And then I just ruffle it up. I really like this lime green here with the black edge. It'll look really pretty on a watermelon. And then we're going to roll the other end too. I can see that in a watermelon wreath. And you guys, if you're a seller, people are really buying early this year. So talking about watermelon made me think about that. I started pulling out some of my summer stuff yesterday. In fact, I've even got people looking at Christmas. It's like crazy. I think everybody is afraid they're not going to be able to get what they want, which is a valid worry. All right, I'm going to tuck that under. All right, and we're just going to work our way around this outside. My twist wasn't very good on that one. There we go. So does anybody watching, does anybody decorate for St. Patrick's Day? We generally don't. It's just usually whatever wreaths I've got that are waiting to be sold. That or arrangements. And you'll want to watch as you're putting these on here to try to keep those inner ring pipe cleaners, keep them out where you can see them, because sometimes when you get all this mesh on here, it can be hard to see. Hard to find them. And I'm drawing that down pretty tight when I'm putting that ruffle in there. I like doing these wreaths every now and then too, because you don't have to really think too hard on them. Like I said, once you learn the recipe, they're pretty easy. And you can make them for any holiday. I think last year I think we made an everyday one. And you can dress it up as much or as little as you like. Okay, so we got one more on the outside there. And if you have a little trouble, sometimes you can just take this mesh, you know, it'll stick to each other, but if you got a hole like this, you can just work it around, let those guys overlap each other, fill in that hole. Okay, all right, so that's what we have so far. Back up a little bit. Now, you know, normally we'd go ahead and we'd start in on the inner ring as far as putting the mesh on, but you don't want to do that on these wreaths. What we're going to do, we're going to start putting some of our ribbon on. And I've got 3 different ribbon sets. I've cut them at 13 inches. They might be a little long. We might have to trim some of them. But, you know, I like to give them a haircut rather than wish I had left them a little longer. But this is my first ribbon set. I've got a solid 2.5 inch, and then I've got 2 of these shamrock. These are both satin ribbons. They're 1.5 inch, and as I said, they're cut to 13-inch strips. And then my next set is a 2.5 inch canvas shamrock, and then I've had this ribbon forever. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but I thought it looked really nice with the jute here. Just has these sparkled polka dots. And then another shamrock 1.5 inch. And then last one here, we've got another 2.5. Again, I paired that with the 1.5 inch with the glitter there. And then I've got a solid here again. And then this plaid that I showed you earlier. And as I said, they're 13-inch strips. We're going to put 1 2.5 and 2 1.5s in each one of these pipe cleaner. And it doesn't matter what order you put them in. I am going to break up these 2 shamrocks with this neutral colored one there. Put that just right on top. All right, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Open it, pinch it. And then I make this outside layer, I make the ribbon into a V because I want the ribbon to come out to where you can see it. So we'll just sit that right down in there. I usually don't go ahead and untie this because I've only twisted these pipe cleaners once. So it should be nice and flush. If you want to take them apart, you can. Just spread these ribbons out. Okay, just like that. Joey loves St. Patrick's Day. So does Rhea. I knew Rhea did. Remember you made that guy last year. Oh, you like the 13-inch cuts better? Yeah. It's not very often I do 14. I do some, but it's in a really deep wreath. Usually I end up, especially on the inner ring, a lot of times I will cut the trim it down. All right. Spread those out, and again, we're making sure that all the ribbons are visible out this way, because we're going to come back through. You can see how these ruffles kind of spread out, and they're going to overlap here, so you're really not going to be able to see any ribbon if I put it toward the inside there. Oh, Sue, are you freezing? Is anybody else freezing? If nobody else is having trouble, I know myself I'm not having any trouble, and which is unusual. Usually mine is freezing, but if you might want to go out and come back in, Sue. I always really like this plaid ribbon here. Okay. Has anybody else been making spring wreaths? I know Etsy's been hopping. Okay, so we got that one, so we need to come back over here. And just like with the mesh, as I'm tightening that pipe cleaner, I'm drawing it pretty tight. I mean, you can draw it however tight you want, but since we hooked it up the way we did to the base or to the wire frame, it doesn't matter how tight you try to get your mesh in that, it's not going to tighten up on that frame and then crack it. Now, if you are having a, like say you're doing a wreath making party, which, I mean, they're pretty popular, really. If you can find some place to have one, you can really make a good profit on them. But if you were doing a wreath making party, what you could do, I don't plan on putting a big bow on this, but what I've done before is either bring some pre-made bows and offer them as a, an add-on that they could purchase, or you could also incorporate bow making, but that's a lot. If you've got people that have never made a wreath before, that's a lot, and you'll be there a while. Okay, so this is the last one, it looks like. But people, the DIY has really taken off. And like I said, if you can find some place to host them and keep your costs down, you can really have a money maker. It is work. Okay. All right, so there's our outside. Then usually what I do, I go ahead and just twist these. You could do this while you're doing it, but I twist these up about 1.5 inches or so, because we're going to cut these off, these pipe cleaners. but I like to leave them a little bit on the longish side so I can tuck them underneath. And as I said, if you want to, you can do it while you're doing the ribbon. Now, another option too I've seen, if you want to buy some tulle, like with this, you could buy some green tulle and make just little strips and put them inside the pipe cleaners there. But there again, it depends on how much money, how much work you want to put into it, how much time you want to put into it. So I just take that and I tuck it down. Hi, Diane. All right, now we're going to start back with the ruffles again. Get all this out of the way. Again, I'm going to tuck it under, and ruffle. Just like that. I'm going to look to see where I want to start. Probably. Let's just go right here. This is why I told you to make sure you put those pipe cleaners in where you can see them, because they can get kind of hard to find. It's hard to twist that too many times. I had to stop. All right, get this all. Now, sometimes you might see that you got, like I went uneven here. Just come over to this other side here and pull it back where it belongs. See, we got all that, so let's start over here. Now, when you're tucking it under, make sure you don't have too big of a fold there. You want to drop it down kind of tight. Otherwise, it's not gonna lay correctly. I'll show you what I mean on this next one. So when you see me kind of struggling there a little bit, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get it folded down a little less fluffy. So again, if we're trying to make this as a screen door wreath, right? So we want our profile to be low. Okay, so what I'm saying is, especially when you're toward this is toward the outer part of that mesh roll, you don't want to bring it in like this. Can you see that? Let me zoom in. You don't want to bring it in a big, turn it under large like this, or otherwise your ruffle's going to be off. You want to bring it in kind of tight, kind of like this, maybe about an inch, inch and a half or so, and then we're going to tuck it over again. So that's how big you want that fold, thereabouts. And same thing on the other side here. Okay. All right, was I there? See how that inside really gets filled in? Is this the right one? I feel like that's not right. Let's see, I this and this. Yeah, so I'm going to skip one. I need to put my lime right here next to this jute on this side. Must have grabbed the wrong one whenever I unrolled that. Okay, last one here. Right here. Sometimes you'll have to rearrange your ruffles like that. Like here we've got one sticking up, so we don't want that. Let's find some place to tuck him under. And all that mesh just kind of sticks together and works out just fine. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Oh, thank you, Connie. Better now. Rhea said she froze once and it quit. So, okay. Yeah, Spring and Easter is selling, yes. And Etsy, like I said, Etsy's hopping. All right, now let's start putting our ribbons on the inside. And I'm putting this black on top of this white on purpose, because if I were to put this right up here against this kind of a dark emerald green, it's not going to show up as easily. It's just going to kind of blend into the background. But if I separate these two, then we're going to be able, or well, separate it with the white is what I meant, then it's going to be highlighted a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to put that together. Now, on the inside, you can do either way. Of course, I fold it in half, find my middle, and usually on the inside, I put it into an X, whereas on the outside, I make a V. The inside, I typically will make an X, and that way we've got ribbon coming into the inside also. But if you have a particularly large sign, you may want to do something different. So you don't want your ribbon all just hidden by the sign. Okay. Whoops. Just knocked all my ribbon off. Whoops, I didn't want that ribbon. Get all my mesh has grabbed all this ribbon, it's getting it all messed up. All right, we'll just lay that down there right on top. Fold it. Pinch it. And let's see. Okay. Come back here. And I'm on these inside ones, I am not twisting it like what we did the other ones at the end there. I want to keep those short for right now. And I'll show you why here in a minute. What I think I messed up my ribbons, didn't I? I sure did. I don't want that one on there. I told you I messed up my piles there, didn't I? I want this one. All right, now for this one, I'm losing my mind, you guys. That's not what I want. Good grief. I don't want either one of those. I think I've knocked off all my ribbon. I've messed up all my piles, and now I'm just a mess. All right, so we wanted this one, and we want the black one. I really haven't been drinking yet. At least I figured it out before we got all the way done here. Like, wait a minute, that's not right. Okay, now the next one we want is this one, and these two. So that leaves 3 left, so we're good. All right, get these spread out. I'm not sure I'm right on these yet. I'm sure not. Good grief. Okay, this one, I knew that was off. We need to put this one over one. me put this in here. Do you guys notice that I was doing that wrong? Right now, lost another ribbon. It's falling off the table. Okay, so let me see what we need. I'm just going to cut another one. So we need one of these. It's probably underneath over on the front of the table over there. That mesh was grabbing a hold of everything. Hey, Susan. You guys are not going to comment about it, right? It makes me think about when I was doing my our workshop the other day. I started in on a project, and it wasn't too long I realized, well, heck, I didn't even put any moss down on our foam. Everybody just kind of went with it. Some of them noticed, but nobody said anything. I did notice before I got too far along, though. Okay, now, as I said, I left those pipe cleaners a little bit on the longish sides now. I didn't go ahead and trim them off for a reason. I'll show you here in a second. But that's what we have so far. If you wanted to stop there, you could. And this will sell. Spread out my ribbons a little better. You don't want it too much of the mesh showing. And some people just put one 2.5-inch ribbon and one 1.5-inch ribbon, and that's fine too. I like a little bit more ribbon than I do mesh myself. That's just my taste. But just know there's no, you don't have to put all this into it if you don't want to. All right, now, the reason I left that, I'm going to go ahead and put the sign on, but I was thinking about putting a little bit more finishing touches on this one. I'm going to find my bracket. Remember, we found that middle bracket there. This, just any of them, a center bracket. And I'm going to line it with my cutting mat there. And I'm going to go ahead and put my sign on. And I'm just going to go down there. I'm going to find those brackets that I had on the side. Remember, we marked those. And I'm just going right straight through this mesh. If you can find a path where you don't have to go through the mesh, that's fine. But the mesh will help hold your pipe cleaner a little bit more stable too. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull this upside down. And the other one. Sometimes it just takes a little bit to work it through that mesh. I usually don't like putting my wreaths face down because then you got to go back and fix all those ribbons, but doing this particular style wreath is a little bit easier for me. Now this one I didn't have to worry about the mesh. I got a hole there so I can just work around it. Can't find my other pipe cleaner. There it is. All right, and then I don't twist those a whole lot when I have it upside down because I want to turn it over and make sure I've got it straight. Some fell on the floor, yes, probably. Yeah, I think that the mesh got caught on the ribbon, and as I turned the wreath, I think it went on the floor, so that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna all the ribbon that I can bring out from the sign, I am. Sometimes like that one I think would do better underneath. So there's gonna be too much mesh showing. Okay. This one I want to leave underneath, again, because I've got too much of the mesh showing. This one we'll bring out. Now, let me make sure my sign's straight here. It looks pretty good. All right, now another thing you can do is, I wanted to put some of those, what are they called? The mesh tubing. I wanted to dress this up just a little bit with that, but I don't have any green. I've got every other color under the sun, but I have no green. I'm just going to tighten this side of the sign a little bit more. So another thing we could do is put little, again, depending on what you're, if you're really wanting to make this a screen door wreath and, avoid, here's your profile here. If you want to avoid making it too full, you don't have to do this step. You could just go ahead and leave it as is. I would, tie off my ties and twist those and tuck those under. But I thought it might be cute just to put a couple of little bows here and there. So let me see where I want to put them. Actually, you could put a bow, put a longer bow here and maybe a little one up there. Let's see. I'm going to play around with it. I think I'm going to use the white ribbon, the white 2.5, just to brighten it up just a little bit. It's not going to be a big bow. It's just going to be something, just to perk it up just a little bit. Maybe just right like that. Like that. And this is just a, this is about a 4-inch loop. That's all I'm going to be doing. Get my tail going in the right direction here. Just trim that off. I don't want a big long tails. And maybe, let's see, which ribbon we want to put. I like this one. I also like this one. I'm just going to use this one. Nice little simple bow. And if you wanted to, you could always, you know, if you had some small daisies or, you know, small tulips, something like that, you could always add something like that to, just to dress it up just a little bit. Again, some people like them like this, just plain. I'm going to get a pipe cleaner. The tail's going the right direction. I'm just going to slide this right in here. Actually, I'm going to cut off this pipe cleaner I just hooked that with. Cut that off short. And then we'll use this pipe cleaner just to wrap that around there. But you could almost make these bow loops kind of on the flat side. So I've got one tail, or one loop that's a little bit smaller than the other. I'm trying to adjust there. But you could make them, we'll fluff them out and make them kind of flat. Again, trying to keep a low profile. Tuck that under. Something like that. Go ahead and dovetail our ends. I think that's cute. Right, and since I've got that down there, I almost feel like I want to put one up here, just a small one, no tails or anything. That's what we have so far. Trying to get it straightened for you there. But I want to bring a little bit of that white up here. I'm going to use the exact same ribbon. And maybe not quite as large of loops. Let me look here. I don't want my tails to be covering up my sign, so I'm going to be trimming those pretty short. And you know, if you need any help with bow making, every Tuesday on my Facebook and YouTube page we do bow making, and I have several videos available. I think I've got one posted in the group. Actually, I want this up there. I've got one posted in the group of different styles of bow making. And then on my webpage also. A lot of people get to this stage and they think, oh my gosh, I can't make a bow, I'm quitting. But look at what that looks like, and that's going to fluff up into a nice bow. But you just got to work with them. I know some people watching my videos, sometimes they're probably like, what in the world is she doing? But just patience. All right, let's get another pipe cleaner. And actually, I'm going to dig one of those short ones out of the trash that I just threw away. I just need a little one. So I just want to wrap it around the center of this. Trim that off. I'm going to stick it right in here. Just, like I said, just to offset that right there. Draw it down tight. And remember to keep this, you know, when you're twisting this like this, you want to make it long enough, or keep it long enough that you can tuck it under. And then you can always come back here. If you wanted to cover that up, you could always come back here with maybe a little sparkly shamrock or a little ornament, a leaf, a flower. Let's see. Put that over there. Let's dovetail it. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn this around now and check it out, see what we need to do yet. That's what we have so far. All this ribbon adjusted, and I still haven't decided on cutting off those pipe cleaners just yet. I don't want to commit myself, because once I cut them, then I've committed myself. But I think we're done. I like it. Let's try to make sure this white is all spread around, so it doesn't just look like I've got it just right here and here. I've got white there, but it's just not showing right now. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to, actually these guys, I could just tuck these under. If you wanted to go ahead and trim them off, you could. You don't have to. Just tuck those under the sign. Like I still got a little off balance on my white down here. I want to rearrange these here where it's a little bit better visible. Put the black over here next to that white. Bring a little bit more white over here. And that fixes it. Okay. There we are. I like it. It's turned out cute. All right, I'm going to raise you guys up, and then I'm going to see if we have any questions. Raise you up, and I'm going to drop you down. Yeah, the white, I think it helps. Yes, absolutely, Joey. Yeah, like I said, it looks still a little bit off here, but I think just rearranging the way I had my ribbons spread out makes a big difference. Hey, Phyllis. Oh, Sharon says she couldn't do a design and teach at the same time. Yeah, you can. What? Yeah, I believe me, you will. And they're there. A lot of them are there to socialize too. If you're doing a wreath making class, just be careful that you don't let them get too carried away with the drinks. Actually, I live in a subdivision. We've got a restaurant and a clubhouse and that kind of thing. And I went to talk to them about doing some wreath making classes over there. And they were not allowing that anymore because they'd had a paint party before with like 80 women. And I guess they got a little bit over intoxicated and they ended up with paint everywhere. So they ruined it for all of us. But but yeah, just you got to be careful with that. I started doing them at Hobby Lobby here locally. Joann's would not allow me to do it. Something about they wanted you to be an employee of Joann's, and I kind of get the drift. It depends on where you live. But here in town they wouldn't allow me, but Hobby Lobby did. But then COVID happened, and then I got too busy. So. Oh, thank you, Donna. I didn't even see you there. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Susan, Catherine, Sharon. And like I said, it's something you can use this recipe for any season or, just every day. And it's real quick. As I said, I was talking and, that kind of thing. So it took me a little bit longer, but you can whip these out in no time. I'm not kidding you. And even my granddaughter, she made one for, it was 4th of July, I think, maybe last year. And she always loves to get on here and do videos with me. And actually somebody bought her wreath while we were making it. We had to end up making another one. So, hey Sharon, how are you? Thank you. So does anybody have any questions? I think though too, let me measure this. Even with adding the bow, I think our profile is still would work for a screen door. So it's between 6 inches probably with the bows fluffed, but you could easily flatten these bow loops out a little bit. I mean, that's not my taste, but you could. And if your customer was really wanting to put one in her screen door, I like them fluffed. Okay, any questions? Oh, thank you, Connie. Love the shamrocks. Okay, well, that's all I have for you this week. And I did put a post out for our monthly drawing. We'll be having that next Thursday. I don't know what time yet, but we'll be doing that. And if you're new here, I have a monthly drawing, and it's just for a random box of supplies. And it's different every time. And if I know your taste, I try to go toward that. Some people I don't know your taste yet, so it's just general things. But so anyway, there's that. And it's always to enter. It's always something simple. And like right now is what's your goal this month for wreath making. But and then 2. I did get some more of those florals in just right before I went live. Some more of those. Let me grab them in case you don't know what I'm talking about. I got that in my D. Stevens order. I think it's supposed to be here tomorrow. Looking at the tracking, Now these are all squashed right now, but anyway, these are what I made the, was it the week before this? I think maybe last week, I think I did this tutorial, but this is the bush that I used to add to that. Now, another thing too, though, especially if you're new here, I want you to know, and I've done this before, say I've got a design, I want to make a whole bunch of the wreaths with a certain spray, and I can't get that spray anymore. All you got to do is look at the individual components of it. Now, I ended up cutting out these foam things because I didn't really like them in that wreath. In some designs it'd be okay, but just look at the individual components of it. I mean, you got 2 little mini rose sets. You've got, I don't know if these are carnations or what those are, but you could easily make your own sprays. Okay, but I've got these. Now, if you missed it, some of these flowers are paper, but I sprayed mine. I usually don't pre-treat or spray any of my items with anything, but I was a little worried about it being paper because I didn't even notice that it was paper when I first ordered them. But I looked on some floral, I belong to some florist groups, and I looked, and they just advised spraying it with sealant. I used to use a matte sealer that you can get at Hobby Lobby or Joann's, Walmart, any place like that. And I sprayed them, and it didn't even change the color of it. I just sprayed the paper ones. I didn't spray the silk ones. So I don't know why they'd have some silk and some paper. But anyway, I was afraid that it would change the color, but it did not. And I doused them pretty heavily. So, but anyway, I'll be listing these. I want to wait until this evening. I'll probably do it about, let's do it about 8 o'clock 8 o'clock Eastern time, because I want everybody to have a chance to get some. And if you've already gotten some, you might lay back and let some other people get them, because I did not expect them to go that fast last time, to be honest. They were sucked up in no time. But anyway, I'll post those around 8 o'clock tonight Eastern time, and that way everybody's got a fair chance. I'll also send out or put a post on the Facebook group. Anybody else have any questions? Hi, Pauletta. How are you today? Okay, I don't see any other questions, so let me know if you think of anything, and as I said, I will try to get this downloaded to Vimeo and then send it out in link also. And if anybody gets on my website to look at I've got all the group tutorials from several weeks back forward. I haven't gotten some of the, a lot of the old ones on there yet, but all the new ones should be posted on the website. Let me know if you have any trouble. You will have to sign in, and you'll have to have a password, but then it should be fine. Hi, Jacqueline. Okay. All right. I'm going to let you guys get back to your day. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. And thanks again for being here and continuing all your support. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.